What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video. And I said we'd be back. The Disney Fox deal went through. Me, MG, and Mitch, we're going to talk about pretty much everything. Of course, the big thing coming out of this is what's going to impact the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's mainly what we're going to focus on. But we're going to talk about pretty much everything that Disney ended up acquiring from Fox, because it's a lot more than just the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and all the characters involved with that. But I think the deal was I think the deal was for like $52.4 billion.
Yeah, but it's going to be up to more because they're taking on Fox's debt that they have as well. So they're taking on, I think it's like another $15 billion in debt that Fox has.
Disney got so much money to throw around.
But so part of the deal they pay cash, and the other part is they bought stock. So, but the important thing is that the deal between Disney and Fox, their end is done. It's official. It's signed. It could take up to 18 months for it to become official legally, though.
Yeah.
So you got to wait on government agencies' approval. We've seen how the Time Warner AT&T deal got nixed a few years ago, and I think they said like it could take up to 18 months. I know Disney and Fox are hoping to have it done by June of 2018, but it could take up to 18 months. So this is all just formality. But Fox and Disney's ends are done.
So I know because Sky Sports was a big one, and they
got all the Sky, not just Sky Sports, but Sky.
Oh yeah. So yeah, because didn't you say they got was it like 30 channels or something like that?
So with Sky, they're getting 39% stake in Sky, but what Fox wants to do is buy the other 61% of Sky before the deal gets finalized, like legally, and that way Disney would end up owning all of Sky.
Wow.
And then with the sports stuff, they're not getting Fox Sports. They're not getting FS1 or FS2, but like the local stations. So like if you're a Yankees fan and you watch the Yankees every day on the Yes Network, that's that's a locally owned Fox affiliate. That's going to be owned by Disney now. So all of those little, I think
local for like every sport.
Network.
So
yeah,
that's pretty big. That was actually a big part of the deal, I heard. Which that's pretty big. But they're not also getting like the Big Ten network or anything like that. But like they're basically getting everything except for the news and some of the sports stuff. That's pretty much it.
Yep. They're getting the whole movie division,
production studios, everything.
You know what? Another thing that's big is FX too, because a lot of the superhero movies that Marvel and some of these other companies have, where do they premiere at? On FX.
So now you own it. So, now you pretty much own that channel. It's gonna be one of your main channels. That's gonna be one of your channels. So
they got National Geographic. I believe A&E is a part of it as well.
Yep.
Trying to remember if there was anything else out as far as network wise. Not that I can think of.
I know they become I believe it's majority owners of Hulu, or at least they got a big stake in Hulu. With acquiring all the Fox's stocks or whatever for it.
I gotta double check on that on the Hulu thing.
Yeah, 'cause I know. I remember seeing majority on it. I'm not entirely sure, but they're definitely gonna be. You probably see something in the future, them doing something on Hulu. Now they're gonna have their own network, which they want to reap most of the benefit from that, just because they don't entirely own Hulu, so they'll still probably come out with their own network.
It says that they would give Disney a controlling interest of 60% of Hulu.
60%. Yep.
Okay, so they own the majority stake, but
so I'm thinking
the thing about it is they own majority stake in 3 streaming companies, so it's not just Hulu.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably the biggest one though.
I think that what they're going to do is that they're going to create Hulu into like the Disney platform. That's my opinion, because I think they want to start it off with something like a ground that they can actually take off from. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they just want to pull out a random Disney streaming service. I think they would rather just make it Hulu.
See, because the benefit of Hulu is, you already got a big a big base, and then you got the subscriptions. They get money from subscriptions, and you put the movies up there, you put your cartoons or whatever. It's gonna bring in even more people to already established streaming service.
Exactly.
From what it looks like, it looks like they're gonna keep Hulu separate from their streaming service. It looks like they're gonna keep Hulu and take Hulu into a more adult-oriented route.
Ooh, interesting.
So that's what it's looking like they're gonna do with Hulu.
So the big question is, what happens to these Netflix shows? Do you think they get pulled and put on Hulu?
That's huge.
That's what I would think would happen with those.
No, wouldn't it go onto the Disney streaming service though? Like the Marvel shows, for example?
It depends on what they want to do with it. See, they might separate it by rating.
Yeah,
they might.
And see, those are going to be rated TVMA, so
they might, because
so R and higher might end up on there.
But they might, because you're not going to have like a Pixar show on the same streaming service as a Punisher show, are you?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Unless there's parental controls.
I don't know. I mean, that's parental control, just like Netflix.
They could, but you know what I think they want to do is create with one streaming service, and then if you get one streaming service, you pay the full price, and then you get the other streaming service at a discounted price, which is what I think they're angling for here. Because remember, we've been saying they're going to get their own streaming service anyways, and my prediction was that they were going to start offering movie releases on their own streaming platform anyway, so people don't have to go to the theater just for an extra price, for an extra fee. And I thought they were going to do that before, but now I think it becomes a little bit more likely with all they're getting here. And I think that's what you could see. And like I said, the net neutrality thing, I think people are overreacting to it, but I don't think it's a coincidence that this deal was announced the same day that it got repealed. I definitely don't think so.
There's still a few legal hoops they have to go through to actually.
Hey, it doesn't affect me.
It will eventually.
It will eventually. It does. It's not. I mean, it's not something that's like. I don't think it's like life-threatening or anything like that. But I think it could become an inconvenience to some people. But that's a different conversation. But with that, it would allow them to, because it would allow them to charge more in doing stuff.
Let's just
that. So
talk about like the movies and the television shows they got here. Like, I'm just looking at this. Like, obviously they have The Simpsons, which will probably be canceled. Probably be canceled. They have Family Guy. I don't know if that's going to be canceled. This Is Us is one of the biggest shows on TV. Modern Family is one of the biggest shows on TV. Empire is one of the biggest shows on TV.
There's no way to get rid of Empire.
They have X-Files.
No. Wait, because they might still air on the Fox network though. The ones that are currently airing,
this is what Disney owns. Like, this is according to LA Times at least. And they also have like Avatar, and of course that everything from Star Wars now, X-Men, Deadpool, Ice Age. They have all this.
They got Ice Age now.
Yeah, that's a big one, dude. That's a big one.
Put that with Pixar. Ooh.
Yep. They got Planet of the Apes. They got Predator. We were talking about a Wolverine Predator movie, which would be a pretty cool movie. Yep. So I mean, they got.
That would be interesting.
Deal. We can see a lot of those shows probably like The Gifted. Some of those shows are probably, especially anyone focusing on.
Gifted's done for.
Huh? Yeah, it's probably done for. It's actually been alright too. I actually like it.
Like they get Kingsman, Alien.
Yep.
Damn. Independence Day.
Nobody wants to see Independence Day again.
I saw that last one. It was terrible. But Kingsman, the first one, the second one wasn't good as the first one.
I haven't seen the second one yet.
I don't like. I like Channing Tatum. Oh my god, he's so garbage. But I still like the main character. I like everybody else, but Channing Tatum.
I think a lot of the current X-Men, most of the current stuff that revolves around the X-Men outside of Deadpool, done for. I put it at a 50-50 chance that Dark Phoenix movie even comes out. Like
I still think it does, yo. I still think that movie comes out, but I think after that, that shit getting canned.
If it doesn't come out, Disney doesn't have to foot the bill for it.
True.
Necessarily, because everything's already paid out. That's already come out of Fox's pockets. So that's they don't have to put the bill for it. So they could squash it before it even releases if they don't like it, and that's it.
Hey, that was one thing I was saying. They're definitely gonna can that universe because one, Fox screwed that X-Men universe up so bad that they had to rewrite it with Days of Future Past. So I already saw that getting rewritten. Fantastic Four.
I'm fine with that because
Days of Future Past was amazing. Suck. Yeah, that was good. First Class was good. So I'm glad those movies are in the canon.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
not anymore. They don't exist anymore.
Like I said, Deadpool is going to be the only one to survive this. Maybe Wolverine if they can get Hugh Jackman back, but outside of that, maybe McAvoy and Fassbender. I don't think Fassbender makes it, but I think McAvoy comes back. Some of those,
well, at least those two.
Honestly, I don't think they're going to bring anyone in except for Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I think the Deadpool stuff is safe
in terms of actors.
Brolin is Cable is safe. He's part of the Deadpool. Yes, he plays Thanos, but he's safe. He's just getting paychecks now.
They should have a movie where he faces himself.
There's nobody happier about this than him right now. Like,
he's getting a double paycheck.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to worry about one studio saying, "No, you can't go do this Marvel movie because we want you now." Like, he doesn't have to worry about that. They're all on the same schedule now.
And he can have a movie where he faces himself.
This is true.
That would be fucking hilarious.
That'd be a perfect Deadpool movie. Like, honestly, it would not be. So I think McAvoy should come back. I don't know if they'll bring Fassbender back, especially with his lack of success outside of.
That's true.
McAvoy's
a really good actor.
He at least had, what was that, Split? Or was that movie called?
It was really good. He's had some success. But the thing is that I don't know if they want to entirely redo the X-Men. I think it would just confuse fans and confuse the general public to have these people in these movies.
No, I think you know what I mean? Understand what went on after the Spider-Man situation happened. Well, it's Marvel's now, and it's a whole new ball game. I think that the Spider-Man thing set the tone for this is what we're doing when we get something back that we should have. And like we can reboot this and do whatever the hell we want to do, and people are
probably what's gonna happen. They're gonna just reboot everything. Even though I would like for them to bring McAvoy back because I do like him as Xavier.
I do too.
I think he's got a chance to come back though. I think outside of Jackman, out of all the people who are playing X-Men roles, outside of Jackman and obviously the Deadpool cast, I think McAvoy's got a good shot at coming back.
Well, Jackman would definitely, if he wanted to play Wolverine, they would definitely give him the job. There's no question.
Just back up.
He doesn't even have to ask. He just makes a call like, "Look, bro, I'm ready." Like that's it.
Yeah, that would be nice.
A lot of those TV shows that Fox owns, they're done for. I think Simpsons and Family Guy, they might be on in syndication, but new episodes, I think they're done for. They're not ratings draws like they used to be. So,
nope.
American Dad, another one.
Something like Empire, like you said, if they own that, there's no way.
There's no chance.
There's no that show's one of the
those
shows.
Like, yeah,
there's no way.
No chance.
Mm-hmm.
No way that's going anywhere.
That could be part of that Hulu side of the platform they're working on.
Doesn't it already come on Hulu though?
Probably, but it could be one of the foundations too, though.
Well, where it's only showed on Hulu?
No, not where it's only showed on Hulu, but the rerun episodes are on Hulu. But
how do you think this
set the tone for what Disney's going to do with Hulu with that show being so successful?
Yeah.
How do you think this impacts Netflix?
It depends on.
It remains to be seen.
It depends on if they want to pull those, your Daredevil, the movies that they have up there.
Oh, they're coming off. I think by the end of 2018, most of the movies will be off, and then by 19, I think most of the actual series will be off. From what I remember.
It's going to affect it a lot. It's going to affect it a lot.
If they keep it on Netflix, though, they might.
For sure, it'll affect me. I'll tell you that much.
I wouldn't be surprised if they worked out a joint deal to keep those the actual shows on Netflix. The movies are done for though.
Oh yeah, all those movies because I know they just put Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 up there. Yeah, that shit, Doctor Strange, all that shit's gone.
By 2025, for $5.99 a month, you can watch the new movie releases on the Disney streaming service. I'm predicting this. I want people to remember this, and you don't have to get up and go to the theater. I'm calling it.
You're probably right.
So I'm just saying by 2025. But yeah, I think. But I remember seeing it when when the news came out that Disney was getting their own streaming service like way earlier this year, that they were going to start pulling stuff off by like late 2018. So
the kids shows, the cartoon stuff, those are gonna be gone quick.
Yeah,
those are gonna be gone quick. Those are gonna go first.
But what's interesting is, God, I forgot my point here. Because I was about to say something. I can't remember. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, like for the movies, yeah, I agree that they should go ahead and just like pretty much reboot it, just because it's so convoluted. Fantastic Four, who cares? It's gonna get.
I don't think we're really gonna get an announcement, Calvin, until like.
It's gonna be a while.
It's gonna be Comic-Con like next year, like something like they'll just talk about it.
And the deal's got to be official too, but I'm pretty sure they already have. Because like I said, there's word out there that they're keeping the. Because remember the Infinity War. The second movie went from Avengers Infinity. What was it? Infinity War 2 or something like that.
Yeah, it was just it was like called Part 1, Part 2.
Yeah, then it went to Untitled. And word is it's because the title gives away like kind of what's going on, and word is that Marvel and they knew this thing was going down way ahead of time, like long ago, and so that's what happened. And not saying that these characters from the Fox side are going to be in the movie, but something big is supposed to happen. Rumor is something big supposed to happen to kind of fit it all together. And
they've already been very vague with Phase 4. You know,
you
got some sequels that are coming out, like Doctor Strange 2. Another
Phase
movie.
4. I think the Phase 4 only includes at this moment. I think is Homecoming 2 and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I believe.
Those two.
Captain Marvel's not up there.
Captain Marvel.
I know that was one.
Which. Now that they just said that they wish they had did Captain Marvel earlier, it makes sense. Because I think the Secret Wars thing that Calvin's talking about is that's reason.
Gonna be a big event, man.
But I think that's one of the reasons why they're starting to say they wish they did Captain Marvel earlier. I don't think it has to do with the success of Wonder Woman. I think it has to do with this. Yep. But
I mean, it's big because now they can use all the IPs. You don't have to really hold back on stuff.
Yeah. Well, they own everything like straight up except the Spider-Man characters and the Hulk.
Yeah. But I'm surprised they haven't tried to get that back from Universal.
I'm pretty sure Universal drives a hard bargain.
It's like, nah, you can't have it.
Because they're not sweating money.
It's the same with Sony. It's the same.
Yeah, they're not sweating money. They just put out Jurassic Park. They ain't sweating for money right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's about the numbers, man.
Especially for a guy that when they put out movies for, that they didn't really make them no money back in return. They ain't tripping over Hulk. Like Hulk is in the basement for them right now. They don't care. Like Disney calls and they're like, nah, we're not gonna sell. And that's just the end of the conversation. Like they don't really care.
So like from a story standpoint.
Phase 3, Captain Marvel is in Phase 3.
She counts as Phase 3, so she's probably the end of Phase. Well, because she's coming before.
Okay,
the
so
next
this is how
Avengers,
Phase
right?
3 goes. Black Panther, Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I know that Calvin's looking forward to. Captain Marvel and the untitled Avengers film.
Okay, so that Avengers film, that last one, will be the end of Phase 4.
So maybe it's like there's either a mention of X-Men characters, or maybe we'll see the new characters in some way.
I don't think they're doing Secret Wars. I think they're gonna have Thanos just fuck shit up.
I'm saying like Secret Wars will be after.
I think Secret Wars will be Phase 5.
Down the road.
That's a big event.
Yeah.
Which would be like I don't even know 2025.
Well, even at that, I think they said like there's still ways you can incorporate them into the current cinematic universe and still make it make sense to a degree. Like, I heard somebody put it this way, like with Fantastic Four. Say, for instance, Reed Richards was working for S.H.I.E.L.D. on the Tesseract, and he didn't like what they were doing and trying to weaponize it, so he left.
You could for sure do
and
that.
That's how he used that. You know, he used his research from studying the Tesseract to create the way they got into space. And let's say Johnny Storm was a race car driver who was on the track in Iron Man 2 and Whiplash attacked, right? Or, you know, something like that. Like, there's little pieces they can move around.
Well, MG, I think the biggest question is not the X-Men. I think you brought it up as Fantastic Four. I don't know when the Fantastic Four is going to be brought into this.
I don't know if they get brought in as a movie, as a singular movie first, though.
I think they do. Okay, well, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that they might just bring in, like MG said, I think they might just bring in, like, one character.
Because it's too big a risk to do a whole Fantastic Four movie with the reputation they have. So I think it would make more sense to put them, all four of them, in an actual movie first to get people to kind of get a feel for them and like say, okay, Panther, right? Yeah, and just to say, okay, I'm okay with this version. I can go see the movie now, right? Yeah. So I think it would make more sense for them to. Same with the Hulk, right? So like before they did, you know, if they were to ever get the rights back to Hulk, it wouldn't have been the same if they made a Hulk movie as it was after all we've seen in these Avengers movies with Hulk, right? If they would have just went straight off of, you know, straight after what Universal did, people wouldn't have bought it. But now that we've got a chance to see them develop Hulk on screen in other movies, people are invested in Hulk. And they like it. So I think it would make more sense to do that. You know, and you know, with the X-Men, it could have, you know, I seen somebody. It could have been a way where
Witch a mutant now?
Yeah, they could have said that where you can incorporate the mutants, and you know, they didn't know because Xavier was keeping a low profile. Him and Shield were kind of keeping the mutants under wraps. And then you know whatever, I can't remember what stone it was, but it kind of just activated the mutant genes in Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in that Age of Ultron movie or whatever. But they hadn't really discovered what mutants were, even though they had been there or something like that, and S.H.I.E.L.D. just kept everything under wraps. But you know, they could go that route. I mean, if they do, I mean, we already know that the current X-Men universe is kaput anyway, so all of that apocalypse shit and all that shit didn't happen. So
pretty much,
there's ways they can incorporate it.
All that.
And then, like we said too, Thanos could just fuck everything up, and X-Men could have just been happening in an alternate reality, and Thanos just fucked everything up, and now it's all in the same world. Same, right?
That could happen. You know?
That's a very realistic chance at this point.
Lead into that.
So, you know, it's big. You know, and now here's another thing. They get somebody to go to after Thanos. Because Thanos is the biggest bad in Marvel Comics, like a lot of people might think.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. They can actually outdo him now.
Galactus, right?
They can do Galactus. They could do Doctor Doom. They could do Avengers vs. X-Men.
Yeah, here's the one that I really like: Onslaught. Professor X and Magneto combined, basically.
Franklin Richards.
There's a lot of story that behind that, but even after a while, Onslaught became even more powerful than Franklin Richards because he took on his powers and Nathan Gray's powers.
Yep.
And when you talk about the powers,
they have the Silver Surfer too.
Yep. Pretty much that all in.
So,
and then you add in, especially you could you could possibly for X-Men movie. I always wanted them to do Mr. Sinister. Now you got a chance to do it because I don't think Fox was ever going to do that.
Sinister, Omega Red, who is one we haven't seen or even teased.
You got Kang the Conqueror. Yeah, then Kang the Conqueror. So I mean, you got a lot of characters to work with. You know, not only with just the X-Men, because I think we talked about this before. Heading to Phase 4. Let's just say it's just nothing before this deal. It just wasn't nothing that was going to be big. But now with this acquisition, it's like, okay, fucking X-Men. People have hopes for a Fantastic. Because I was watching people on Twitter talk about, like, people have high hopes for a Fantastic Four movie, despite how shitty the last 3 movies were. Just because
the first one wasn't the worst.
The first one wasn't horrible.
It wasn't the worst movie in the world. It's just
y'all watched the last one, and it made the first one look good.
Doctor Doom was underpowered, but the rest of the movie was not as bad as people say it is. I mean, it's not great either, but Doctor Doom. They just fucked up Doctor Doom really bad.
Someone tell me like the first one was bad.
I was fine with just Jessica Alba in that movie. I don't care about the rest of the movie.
Yeah, Jessica Alba was cool.
Anyways, I do gotta say this though. This is not all positive though.
Oh no.
I know we're making it out to be like extremely positive.
That's the comic book fan side of us.
Yeah, but like at the same time, we've seen this happen. All right, we've seen two forces join in wrestling. It happen, and that didn't really exactly work out the best. So maybe with the competition aspect of it, because like Marvel is just going to continue to roll out these films, and at a certain point, they might not start caring about the actual quality of the movies. They might start going downhill. We don't know what's going to happen with these.
But as long as Kevin Feige's there,
Marvel for a long time has been, they have their formula. They don't exactly go outside the box. What I did appreciate about some of X-Men's movies is that they did sometimes go outside the box, and that's when you actually got a really good movie like Logan. And we're never going to see another Logan from Marvel.
No, but I think the good thing about those movies were the fact that they did happen. I think Marvel did take notice of it, which is why they're not going to touch Deadpool in terms of rating and what he does.
Not touching Deadpool because of how much money he brings in.
There you go.
And not just that, but it kind of it changed the pace. Plus, the Marvel Netflix shows, right, and how the TVMA. I think they're more open to doing stuff now. I don't think they're like 100% going to say, yeah, we're going to change up, but I think they're a lot more open than they were 5-10 years ago to stepping outside of the box with some of these franchises. So I think that's a positive, but I agree with you in the sense of we don't know yet. So
yeah, it could,
I'm just putting a spin on it. I'm very happy about this. This is going to be awesome. It's going to open up the door, and I thought Marvel was kind of in a corner after like the next few movies just because they don't have many things that can actually top themselves. But now that they got this, this was the right idea. They did the right move, and this is more positive than negative. I'm just trying to point out there is some negative stuff about it.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, I mean, because you Fox was, they were legit well, let's just say, yeah, they were competition. I'll say that. And now, you add them in there. There's a point where they can get lazy because, unfortunately, we want DC to do really good.
Yeah, DC is shit in the bed.
But here's the thing: I don't think Marvel gets lazy. I think Kevin Feige's like he's determined. Like he's determined to do something epic. And when you look at their track record, they go all out for this stuff. Outside of Ant-Man, they've gone all out for everything. As bad as Iron Man 2 and 3 were, in my opinion, they still went all out with it, right? They just made some mistakes, but they go all out with these properties. In Ant-Man, I think they're just giving the second movie a shot, but I think Ant-Man's one of those properties that they tried to do something with. Didn't work out the first time around, and if the second time around don't work out, they're going to move on. I don't think they're going to make a third Ant-Man if the second one isn't successful.
It still had high production value. I mean,
and it still made money. So
look at this. Like, I'll give it that. Like the scenes where the fighting when he was actually using the suit and he was shrinking, that's fucking it looked incredible.
And I think they heard that from the fans and from the kind of reception of it to where it was kind of like. You kind of look at how they've changed, like with Thor, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
They heard how the fans felt about the Thor movies.
Yeah.
And they changed it up. Yeah. They completely changed it up. Guardians 2. I don't expect Guardians. I mean, Guardians 2 did a lot of money, but I don't. A lot of people don't even put that close to the first one, and I think they noticed that. Be. No, it's not. But I think they noticed that.
The next one should be good because Adam Warlock and Nova is supposed to be in it.
Yeah, and they learn from a lot of their mistakes, a lot. So I I got hope, but I also understand that there's always a chance that they mess up something. There's always a chance, but I got hope.
I mean, because one of the biggest negatives coming out of this was I really thought Deadpool was done for. Before I heard what's his name, Bob Iger or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Before I heard him say, "Oh, they're not gonna leave Deadpool rated R," I thought Deadpool was done for. And what about this X-23? I don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe. I mean, enough people push for it, but there's a slim chance that's gonna happen. We don't even know if Fox was gonna make it. So, that was my big question mark, was really Deadpool and that chance of them getting lazy because you don't have Fox out there making the X-Men movie, out there making the X-Men movies, which you saw Deadpool. Deadpool did great. Logan did great, especially for rated R movies.
Well, what I think happens now is Spidey slides into that Fox and X-Men spot in terms of as the competition, because they just do stuff with Spider-Man himself. They don't, all the other stuff that Sony's doing with the Spideyverse is separate from the MCU.
Apparently, it's actually an R-rated Spideyverse.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Venom movie's supposed to be R-rated. So I think,
isn't Venom Tom
Saber.
freaking Hardy?
Yep.
Yes, it is, and they're supposed to put Carnage in the movie, and then Black Cat and Silver Sable is supposed to be shooting soon, I think, in Atlanta.
You know what I don't understand is how does Sony have some characters, but then they were also allowed to use the villain, like a villain in the Spider-Man movie?
God, I think they had the rights to most of the Spider-Man villains.
Sony didn't give up the rights to Spider-Man.
Mm-mm.
They just worked out a deal to allow Marvel to. So basically, what happens is Sony still is the brunt. Does the brunt work in terms of Spider-Man. They still put up the most money to produce it. They still do everything. Marvel just puts up some of their own money to help with production, and they also get some input creatively, and they get to incorporate them into the MCU. So Sony still owns Spider-Man. They're just being cooperative right now because they understand the money that's involved with this stuff. Because what Spider-Man did, $800+ million?
Yep.
They understand the money that's involved, so they're not willing to pass that up, especially after the last two Spider-Man got completely trashed in terms of reviews.
Yeah.
So
they own pretty much the right to all the villains.
Yeah, so they own all
Spider-Man Rogue Gallery.
Yeah, and they still own Spidey and all of that. So they're basically lending him to Marvel for extra money to produce.
That's why you heard the rumors of Sinister Six.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
DC's
why they're
dead, right?
Look, okay, put it this way. They seen the reaction to Justice League, the Thor Justice League thing, as people undersold.
But the
how
Justice
big a deal
League,
that
I don't
was.
think the Justice League reaction was bad.
It's not that it was bad, but
it just wasn't great because
the timing was awful. Because literally, it came out a week or two after Thor, in the reception that Thor got in the box office that Thor did in his first couple of days, first opening weekend. It was bad. It was like that, and then because it's Justice League, right? And you're talking about Justice League versus Thor. Justice League should be the bigger thing, and it didn't get that type of reception from the public. And it still did money because I think they just crossed 500 or 600 million worldwide, right? So it still did some decent good money, and it's still going to pick up more money along the way. But I think the reception.
It is a failure. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, because it's not going to.
It wasn't like Batman versus Superman, the way that people rejected it.
And then you got to look at it too. Thor just passed up Wonder Woman as well in the box office.
It did?
Yeah.
I kind of expected that.
I think Wonder Woman was at 821. I think Thor was at 833.
The problem with Wonder Woman,
Wonder Woman was kind of out of nowhere in terms of how good it was, and Thor, everybody was anticipating it because everybody was looking forward to an actual good Thor movie. Plus, it has the Hulk in it.
Well, it's the amount of time that it's done this though. It's barely been. Well, it's just over a month that it's been out in theaters.
Thor's at 835 million worldwide.
Yeah, I think Wonder Woman was 821, and it was in the theaters longer than Thor has been out so far. Because Thor's only been in the theaters for a month and a week.
Wonder Woman's 821. But also a thing that kind of contributes to Wonder Woman. That movie was banned in some places just because
it was
Gal Gadot.
It was. But I think Thor's probably on track to hit 900 and probably stop there. Maybe short of 9.
Is currently at 617 million.
600. Right. So, and it's only like a week or two behind. They're not going to catch Thor.
Yeah, you're 200.
Unless it stays in theaters like a month or two longer than Thor does. But so you talk about the excitement over the Infinity War trailer. The excitement over Black Panther. You talk about what Thor did in the time frame that it did, and then Justice League comes out a week later and comes out to far less of a reception than Thor did. Then you talk about the deal, because this has to be behind the scenes in Hollywood. People knew this was happening. It might have been news to the public, but behind the scenes in Hollywood, stuff leaks, and these people knew what was happening, and DC probably heard what they're getting X-Men back. We're fucked. What do we have on our? And if you've seen, they just put out their new slate of movies, and they took a lot of movies off of that slate because they're like, we can't fuck up. We can't fuck up. I think they know that the pressure's really on them now, because now that Marvel has X-Men back and a lot of these other properties, Fantastic Four, they are, especially Doctor Doom. You're talking about one of the 5 most popular Marvel villains ever.
They got to do him justice, man.
He's not just one of the most powerful, but he's one of the 5 most popular villains.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think DC's seen that, and number one, they're way behind the ball anyways, and all of this stuff just doesn't make them look any better. It doesn't. Like Calvin said, DC owns all their own properties already, and Marvel's doing this without arguably their top 3 biggest franchises in terms of groups.
Shit, I might give them 2.
Yeah, and you're talking
Maybe
about
1.
Wolverine, who's top 5 most popular character, and they got the rights back to Namor. They literally have all their rights back to all their stuff except the Spider-Man stuff and Hulk.
Yep. And then this is also going to let them do cartoons, because they weren't putting out X-Men cartoons like that.
Their cartoons aren't very good though.
Oh, not even the comics too, because remember they nixed the Fantastic Four comics.
Oh yeah, they just recently brought back X-Men because they tried to get the Inhumans to replace them, and that didn't work. It failed. The show, the Inhuman show, failed. They got rid of it.
Another positive, if you do watch the Marvel shows, is that they can all kind of intertwine now.
So now they can do, say they can use an obscure X-Men character. Say people don't know a lot about them. They can make a Marvel show about them. It gives them more characters to work with. Mm-hmm. They can make one of those Netflix shows about that character. So it gives them a lot to do, to really use.
Like for example, Gambit, because that movie's done for, thank God. Channing Tatum. That would be a perfect Netflix series.
Probably, yeah.
Unless
Gambit.
I honestly think X-Men would be a perfect Netflix series.
Could be,
but they won't do it.
No, that's too big.
It's too big for the movies.
Too big.
It's too big. What was I about to say?
But DC is panicking, man.
I think they should just scrap it. Start over.
DC?
I don't think so.
Save the humiliation.
They just need to get some competent people in there, man.
Honestly, I'm kind of with Mitchell on this. Outside of a couple actors like Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, who I'm cool with. I think but he's done anyway. So I honestly, outside of like Cavill and Gadot, I just scrap it all and then start from scratch.
That sucks.
I mean, because here's the thing. As much as we want to play we want both sides to be good, that's not how they're looking at it from their perspectives. They're looking at it as we got to beat DC. Marvel don't care at this point because they're so far ahead. They don't even worry. But DC is looking at it as we got to compete. Yeah. This is because it doesn't just affect movie sales, but it affects TV. It affects comics because people start giving up.
For sure.
Comics is still good though, just so people know.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Doomsday Clock was pretty good. I haven't seen it. I mean, haven't read it. But
and their TV shows are still good.
Yeah.
Just their movies, which is the biggest thing.
Yep. Yeah, and then, like I said, the Marvel Netflix shows. I mean, Punisher season 2 just announced.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Even though Punisher, which I thought was good, I don't know, like, how the reception was kind of 50-50 though.
Because I'm gonna tell you why.
It's
because of guns.
It's the violence.
It's because of guns.
Still, just putting that out there.
But here's the thing about Punisher, though. He went from a guy who was just literally supposed to be a supporting character on Daredevil season 2 to getting his own season.
Yeah. So he was unreal.
Yeah, and they didn't have a season 2 planned when they started season 1.
Yep.
So it's come a long way. So, you know, and I mean, I got hope for Iron Fist season 2. I think it'll be better than season 1. So, I know everybody's got their issues with it.
You can only go up from there.
You know, and you look at the buzz. I mean, you know, Jessica Jones, International Women's Day is the release date.
Really?
Not coincidence.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think what is it, March 4th or May 4th? I think it's March 4th.
I know
right?
it's about March. I didn't know exactly the day.
Yeah, I think but it's like International Women's Day.
Oh wow. I didn't
like
know they were doing that.
You know, look at the reception Luke Cage got. It broke Netflix for like 24 hours, basically.
Netflix was running like crap that day. I couldn't even watch it that day.
You know, Punisher, you know, whether it be good or bad, one of the most talked about things.
How do you guys feel about Luke Cage?
I think it's overrated, but still really good.
Yeah.
Okay. I liked it.
I thought the
really
villain. I thought the villain, like Cottonmouth, was great, and they made a mistake by killing him off.
Yeah.
They made a big mistake.
Yeah, and I think Coulter's acting is shaky. He just looks the part a lot, so
pretty much
give him a pass. And I think the writing of the show was really good. I think obviously the score for it was really good. There was more good than bad with it. I just think people were calling it like the greatest Netflix show ever when it debuted. And like we were like, wait, season 2 of Daredevil just like what are y'all talking about?
Like season 1 and 2.
Like what are y'all talking about?
Jessica Jones season 2 is like my most anticipated thing that they got going. To be honest,
I'm Daredevil season 3. They're doing the Bourne Center angle. I'm completely here for that.
Yeah. With Bullseye. Woo.
Yeah, and Kingpin's back. I'm here for that right now.
So,
you know?
So one question: what X-Men character who's not gonna be in the movies could they use in a Netflix series?
I want Gambit. He's one of my favorite.
Outside of Gambit, I never mentioned Gambit. Anything another?
That I would want to see.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this
because
I think the problem with Gambit is he's got a cult following, so
they would want a bigger movie.
You almost want him in the movie. Same with Rogue, right?
Yeah,
but you know what's even better now? Rogue, they can make sense of Rogue's powers because obviously she's connected to Captain Marvel. But
will they put that Rogue in there? Because I'm wondering what, like, cause, you know, they're gonna do a new X-Men thing. What team are they gonna go with? Are they gonna go with the '90s team?
Yeah, that's what I think.
That was of course Xavier, Cyclops, Jean, Wolverine, Gambit,
Nightcrawler,
and Jubilee, but nobody cares about her.
Yeah.
So I wonder if will they attempt?
I was just gonna say maybe Jubilee.
Oh no.
Get to see someone I'm trying to think of someone that they actually wouldn't use.
A couple of characters.
Ooh. I'm trying to, because every character I think of.
Iceman?
Nah, he's too big.
Iceman,
they'll put him in the movie. They'll put him in the movie.
Too big, too powerful.
Yeah.
Plus, the CG for that would be too expensive to do for a Netflix show.
There's got to be someone with like not super flashy powers.
What about like Rogue?
Too big.
Movie too popular.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Dazzler might be one that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and then would give him another female character to do.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. And just character wise too, she's got a lot more of a TV type character.
We think of something about. You think the Brotherhood doing something with them? Because they don't have. I mean, they're villains, but who cares? I mean, you can do villains, so what?
What's the call? What the hell is their name? They lived underground. I just literally read the comic.
Morlocks?
The Morlocks.
Yeah, you could do something. You could do like pretty much a team, and you could do something like that because They're kind of known a little bit. I mean, if you read comics, they're known.
Unless they decide to save the Warlocks for a movie scenario, because that was a really big thing in the comics. The when they killed off the Warlocks with the Marauders and
but the thing about
Gambit and them,
they have so many other things that they could do that are bigger. You know, they're gonna do the Magneto thing.
It could. Well, I mean, that angle led to a lot though. Like that led to Angel, how Angel ended up getting his wings. Like the X-Men weren't the same after that. I mean, Storm. That's when Storm officially took over the X-Men, and she had beat Cyclops in a fight for it, and that's when Colossus got fucking beat the fuck up, and Magneto literally healed him. Who was that? I think Kitty Pryde got stuck, being in a kind of a ghost, kind of being a ghost and shit for a long time, and all those events led to the events that brought Cable about. So, I
would definitely go either the Brotherhood or the Morlocks as being something that could happen.
Dakin, that's my pick.
Wolverine's son?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
the violence wise, it'd be perfect on Netflix.
And then that would save Wolverine. So like you could still use Wolverine for the movies, and then that would be like your tie, because the shows are actually still tied to the movies.
Yeah.
they're still subtle.
They are,
every
but
now and then.
For some reason they never interact.
No, they don't. They already said they weren't gonna.
They want to badly too. They like all the guys from the movies and the TV shows want to do something.
I don't know how you can't have like Daredevil on there, man.
Yeah, Daredevil could work. They always said that
he wants to badly.
Only one that honestly, the only one that can't is the Punisher.
Not with that,
because of how violent he is. Like his show is.
That's fine though.
Yeah,
but if they're keeping Deadpool R-rated, you can bring Punisher in.
That wouldn't mesh though.
Hey, you can put him on Deadpool,
and I think it would work. I think the dynamic between them kind of that. It'd be almost like the dynamic between Cable and Deadpool. That kind of Lethal Weapon dynamic. Instead, they both kill. That's the only difference. They say. I think it would work though. I think it opens a lot of doors for them.
Yeah. They won't have to make season 8 of fucking one of the shows that's already going on. I mean, because I still want Blade. That's a character they've had for ever since the whole deal. Ever since they got Daredevil back from Sony.
I still think he needs to either, if he ain't getting his own show, he needs to be in season 2 of Punisher, or in a Daredevil. Like he needs to be in one of these shows if he ain't getting his own show.
Exactly. Put him in Luke Cage. I don't care. I want to see Blade. He's a character that has abilities. He's a what was a half vampire called? Fuck is it called? I don't remember what it's called, but he's like a half vampire, half human. He kills people. I'm fine with that. TVMA. Make it happen.
Yeah. Oh, he's a daywalker.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, you know what would be interesting though?
Because there's another Dathomir. That's what he is.
Okay. Here's another thing that's interesting too. Scarlet Witch's powers.
Will they pump them up now that they incorporated?
Because instead of having Thanos fuck shit up, she could fuck shit up and she could lose control, take out Thanos, and shit changes, right? Because she's got that type of power, and then next thing you know, that trickles down into the Inhumans show, and the Inhumans are dying.
Hopefully she just blow the whole show up.
Yeah, she could trickle that down to the Inhumans. That could trickle down. Cause you know how they do with like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where like effects trickle down and shit. That could trickle down into the Inhumans show, and the Inhumans are dying, and they can get rid of that show. That'd be great.
Didn't they already cancel that?
I don't know if it's been officially canceled. It might have been. I wouldn't be surprised.
I watched that pilot. It was so bad. Like, yo, guys, we could literally go into my backyard and just start recording us doing random shit, and it'd be better than the show. I bet our acting will be a lot better.
Girl was talking about.
I bet our acting will be a lot better. It was so bad. I was like, yo, they was like, cut. Let's roll with this. They did that.
Oh wait, they could do the Illuminati now.
The Illuminati.
No,
yeah, that's the thing.
Illuminati, Professor X,
Mr. Fantastic, Namor.
It's changed over the years.
Iron
like
Man. That was original.
Iron Man.
Jay-Z.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, he could be a pretty good villain. So I guess that's the only requirement nowadays.
Yeah.
But they could do that with Black Bolt, Professor X, and Namor.
I don't mind Black Bolt, but it's just some of those other Inhumans.
Well, the problem with Black Bolt is he can't be a lead character.
Because he doesn't talk.
Exactly.
He can't talk. He talks. He fucking destroys mountains.
So, and that's another problem too. For TV, for TV or movie, they have to underpower him. Mm-hmm. Because if you overpower him, you can't destroy a mountain every 2 seconds. And just too many casualties in the center.
It's hard to, especially because we know who he is. We know he can't talk. We understand the kind of character he is. But people watching it for the first time, they're like, "Why doesn't this guy talk?" They're not gonna see he can't talk, because of his ability. Yeah. They're gonna say, he's boring.
Like they would have to completely rewrite his character. Like they would have to do something where like Stark or Reed Richards came up with a device that allowed him to talk and control his powers, kind of like they did for Black Siren on Arrow. Right.
At this point, I think the Inhumans are, in terms of movies, they're still gonna get their comics every now and then. But in terms of movies, they may be in the cartoon shows, which I see them doing more, especially with the X-Men stuff. But for the most part, they're canned. They're gonna take a back seat now.
Oh, they got, like I said, they got to change Black Bolt.
Yeah.
They got to give them the ability to talk somehow, some way, scientifically, whatever the fuck they got to do. They have to give him, because here's the thing: Inhumans was a big. Obviously, they tried to use them to replace the X-Men, but he's a good character.
He is a good character,
and you got to figure out a way to get him in the right situation. Like we don't need the rest of the Inhumans. Mm-mm. We need him though. So
I try to put Moose in there too.
Yeah. So they got to do something with Black. Like I said, change him a little bit. I mean, how many characters' powers have changed over the years, right?
Especially
let him talk one day. Let him figure out how to talk and control his powers at the same time. That would be a huge leap for him.
Yeah. But
huge.
What was I going to say? I got my train of thought. I think, but honestly, at that point, I just really think they're done for. Oh yeah. And now will Disney stop being dickheads and start putting the X-Men characters in their damn games?
I think so.
Because I don't play Lego games. But I looked at the roster for the Lego Marvel 2, whatever. The first one had the X-Men, had the Fantastic Four in them. Tell me why the second game don't have them now. It's the second game. It's the sequel. It's supposed to be better. This is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. No X-Men characters. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had X-Men characters in there.
Did they have Wolverine?
Yes. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had Wolverine, had Jean Grey, had Doctor Doom. Big one.
They had Galactus was in there.
Yeah, he was the villain. He was the main. He was the main bad guy.
Oh, that's right. He was. That's right.
Sentinel was in there. Who else was in there? In terms of X-Men characters.
Magneto
was in there. Yes, he was.
Okay.
But now, hopefully, they can start using them in other IPs, not only with just, of course, the movies, but the video games. They just recently started doing the comics. Hopefully, they bring the Fantastic Four comics back.
Oh, they'll be back now.
Yeah, they're gonna come back now.
They shut them down on purpose to stop people from being interested and cut off the distribution
well,
legs.
All they got to do is watch 10 minutes of the last one. That'll do that real quick.
Yeah. Not even 10 minutes, maybe 10 seconds.
That movie was bad. Because
that's the thing. Marvel still had the rights to all of these guys in terms of like animation stuff,
video games,
all that other stuff. It was
they made a good decision though, in my opinion. It was maybe selfish, but they were just making the right business decision.
Oh, they were trying to squeeze them out. They were like, "Look, if you're not gonna give us X-Men back, then we're not gonna put out X-Men toys and comics, and we're gonna stop using X-Men properties and everything else. That way, y'all don't get as much popularity and generate buzz for a movie." That's basically what they did to him. Same with Fantastic Four. Yeah. That's what they tried to do to Spider-Man. They couldn't do it with the comics though because it's too popular.
Too popular.
But
too popular. They
but with Spider-Man. But with some of the toys and stuff, they stopped making a lot of Spider-Man toys. Yep. For a while. So, I think obviously you can have your issues with it movie wise, but I think if you're a fan of the comics though, I think this is good because a lot of stuff is gonna come back comics wise.
Yep. And a lot of the ties, because there was stuff they were doing, especially in a movie like Civil War, where the X-Men and Fantastic Four were a big part. A big part of it. There were a lot of things that you saw they changed. They were going to change regardless, just because it's a condensed movie version. Yeah.
Because they kind of changed it in the movies. Spidey goes to Tony Stark for stuff, and it's kind of been that way in the cartoons lately too. But it's really supposed to be him going to Reed Richards. That's who made the Sonic gun to stop Venom. Reed Richards. So
I still don't think that changes. It's too late now for that.
Well, I mean, Downey Jr. is not going to be around forever unless you pay him $130 million.
Which they probably would at this point now.
Wait, so you're trying to tell me that Tony Stark wasn't actually Spider-Man's dad?
Right? Interesting.
I mean, he literally like just showed up out of man. Fuck that movie. Fuck that movie, man. That movie was like, yo, you read those comic books, yo? Put some mud on his boots and just stomped on them. Like, you read these comics? Fuck these comics.
Hey, Peter, that building burnt down? Oh, good job.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this now too. I think Sony needs to talk to Disney and swap roles. To where Disney is the primary producer of these films and financially, and Sony just puts up some of their money into it to and they get a chunk of the stuff coming out the end.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
The gross. They're not. But I think it would be smart for them to do though, because there's going to be a lot more money involved with the Marvel version of Venom than a Sony version of Venom. Even though the Venom they're making is R-rated, it still doesn't have the namesake or the power behind it that the MCU does. And so I think they're losing out on a lot of money on a lot of these other properties that they own from Spider-Man by doing it this way.
Would they make that movie? Would they be willing to make a villain? Yeah, would they be willing to make a villain movie?
I don't think so, but I think the thing you incorporate Venom in would be huge.
Don't get Venom back so they can use Kraven.
Well, I mean, that's
they're not using Kraven. You guys are
dude.
First of all, Kraven is one of Spider-Man, if not Spider-Man's greatest villain. I don't. He is. Oh my. He nearly killed Spider-Man. Literally.
I've been on this for a long time. It's not happening.
Hey man, they use Vulture. Who the fuck is? People don't even know who that was.
Vulture's trash as a villain. He is great, but Vulture himself is trash. Like, if you could have gave me a list of villains that I wanted to see in a Spider-Man movie, I don't even know if I would have remembered Vulture to write down in the first place.
Vulture was just like that. Yeah, he wasn't even really. Wasn't even really a villain. He was just kind of like Spider-Man. All his villains are basically based off the fact that they just rob banks and shit. That's basically what Vulture was.
Kraven don't rob banks.
Exactly.
He just wants.
Hobgoblin don't rob banks.
There's only a few, and the actual good ones that don't rob banks.
No, Spider-Man's got such a great list of villains. Like, he's got a great role gallery, and they picked Vulture.
I know. Vulture was one of the most. What I'm trying to say is he was like one of the most basic villains they could have chose. Maybe that was on purpose, though.
But here's the thing: the reason why Kraven would have been perfect is not only physically would he have been a challenge for a young Spider-Man, but mentally he would have been a huge challenge for young Spider-Man, and Spidey would have learned a lot.
I think Kraven would be better in a sequel.
I'm fine with it being a sequel, but it doesn't look like they're using him, and that's where my problem comes.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying they won't. Not that I don't want them to use him, which
I would be. A Morbius movie.
I'd be great with them using him. I just don't think that.
Oh my god, they're actually using Morbius movie. They're making a Morbius solo movie, but we can't get Kraven in anything. What is going on? A Morbius movie? Look, and here's the thing: they don't own Blade. If it only makes sense to do a Morbius movie if Blade is involved.
But when's Blade getting a Netflix series?
If he gets one, we don't know.
Who owns Blade?
Marvel owns them now. They bought him back when they got Ghost Rider and Punisher back.
And Daredevil. They got all that back.
Daredevil, yeah.
Then why are they not putting anything out with Blade?
I don't know. I don't think they know what they want to do with him, to be honest.
He'd be perfect for a Netflix because I mean, it's a dark. You can't. Yeah. He can't be PG-13.
No,
he's another one that can't be PG-13. But you can make a show out of it.
Yeah, but I think the reason they haven't done them though is because you look at the Netflix series they did. It was all for the Defenders. Like they all tie in together.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. That now they got the opportunity because
even though Defenders definitely disappointed, but
I think Punisher opened the door. If not anything, he opened the door for something with Blade to happen.
Man, imagine if Defenders was actually big. I think they blew their shot. Like, if Defenders would have been huge and it would have been really successful, I feel like they would have had that much more of an opportunity to actually cross over into the movies.
Yeah, I mean, they only... And plus they went, 8 episodes and...
Exactly.
The villain wasn't necessarily, like, the biggest...
But it was just, like, meh. Villain. Like, it wasn't, like, great.
Dr. Doom would be a great villain for them, but he needs to be in a movie. So...
There's no way.
Okay, where do you think Dr. Doom's going to show up?
Okay, first, let me say this now.
He's probably going to be
another Iron Man movie. If they do another Iron Man movie, Dr. Doom has to be in it.
Yeah, because they're probably going to want to do him before a Fantastic Four movie. Because he crosses over to a different. He crosses over to as an Avenger villain. He's mainly first a Fantastic Four villain, but he crosses over to being. It's same with Kang the Conqueror, who is both an Avenger and Fantastic Four villain. Same with Galactus was a thing, just because he destroys the whole planet, so everybody got to get involved. Yeah. So I think they need to show Doctor Doom before they do a Fantastic Four movie in some way.
Well, if he's not even Doom movie, it's done for.
That junk is. I think it was dead anyway. They were just making that. I don't know why. I couldn't.
So they didn't lose the rights to Fantastic Four.
There you go. That's it. That's why they were doing it. They were That's why they made that last one. That's why it was so lazy and bad. Yeah. It was just to keep the rights. Why?
That's why they rebooted X-Men.
You're losing money. Yeah, that's why they
because I think the deal was every 5 to 7 years or something like that. They got to at least make a movie. I think it was 5. I think it was 5.
They have to make a movie, or the rights go right back to the majority owner.
How they rebooted X-Men.
Yep.
Because they couldn't
keep
lose.
Going. But yeah, I think we said a lot.
Man.
So y'all do think it could work? At least when we're talking about the movies. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. Y'all think it could work? Because I think Fantastic.
I think it will work. I just wanted to point out some of the negatives as well.
Yeah. I think that's definitely one, because when you become,
especially with the way, like, if DC was big and they were booming and everything was great on their end, then it would be totally different.
Yep.
We would be looking at, like, the biggest thing ever right now, but it's not.
Seeing them get all their properties back, and then DC has all their properties going up against each other.
Going head to head. Like, yeah.
Oh my God. We can call it adamantium again.
Thank you.
Oh my God, no more vibranium.
Well, it's still gonna be a thing. Cause
you said what?
I might bore people with details, but vibranium was one of the reasons adamantium got made.
It was, but
now they can mention it though. Now they can mention it, because Cap's shield is like a one of a kind version of adamantium. But yeah, I think
no more miracles.
I think that definitely was a negative, Mitch. Was they're gonna get
some of the terminology?
They're gonna get complacent.
Yeah, the terminology was the biggest negative.
Miracles. First of all,
you
couldn't use mutants, but you had to just miracles. And I'm like, look, I get you can't use mutants, right? That's fine, well and dandy. You might have wanted to stick with the letter M. Fine, but find another name. Miracle sounds really fucking pussy. Like, could you imagine like fucking Juggernaut being called a miracle? Like, come on, get the fuck out of here.
I wonder if they bring him back too.
Miracle.
He's gotta be. He's too big of a villain. Or too popular.
Yeah.
The Juggernaut, bitch. That was like the greatest thing that ever happened in any X-Men movie.
Yep, and that movie was garbage, but I do like that.
Yeah, sure it was.
That movie was garbage. But that definitely was a negative because DC's not on their shit, and they have who else is making movies outside of really Sony, and people aren't really high on Sony right now making anything Spider-Man related. So
maybe Warner Brothers should sell to Fox.
Yeah, Sony hasn't made a good Spider-Man anything since 2004, so I wouldn't have much faith in it.
So, only time will tell. See how they, because it'll be a while before they can even use these characters in anything. At least for an extended period. You'll hear.
It'll build our excitement.
Yeah, it does. So we'll see how they handle it up to this point or later on. That's why they were so vague on Phase 4, because they're pretty much planning on all this. And that's one thing I guess you could give them credit for, is they have been planning, but they haven't been planning as long as the motherfuckers been saying. They've been lying to y'all saying they've been planning. Ain't no way they planned it all the way to Infinity War. They got to a point where they was like, okay, this works. Let's keep going with this. This works. Let's go to that. Yep. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. Like, there's no way they had planned 17 movies in. No way. I don't believe it.
There's no way they planned to do 3 Thor movies and
three Iron Man movies.
Yeah, they didn't plan that shit.
Ant-Man,
Black
Doctor
Panther.
Strange. No way. No way.
Liars.
No way.
It just happened,
That movie did good. Let's make another one. What character you want to use? Close your eyes and just like put your finger on the board. We could pass by this name. There you go. That's the character we're doing next.
We got
Guardians?
it.
Come on. They know what I'm playing.
Yeah, they definitely ain't planning on doing Guardians.
Yeah. When Iron Man, before Iron Man came out, they said Guardians. That's gonna be a hit.
Characters like we got a talking tree. No, we got a tree, a talking raccoon, some guy, and a green chick. There you go. Oh, and Batista.
Oh yeah, and Captain Marvel, who they really just start even pushing within the last 5 years.
Yeah, they
wasn't this big a deal 5 years ago.
It just came together just because they got. Let's just say it like they got more talent working behind these movies. Just as simple as that. From editing to script to
I will
visuals.
give Fox, while we are shitting on the X-Men movies, their CG has never been as bad as WB's.
No, and the thing about that's the thing. Fantastic Four is bad, and we want that slick white completely clean. But we said good things about X-Men. Where we were talking about actors that we wanted to come back. But they got some good movies. They're not gonna do it, but they got some good movies.
Doom, they just couldn't put it all together in one movie. Like the first Doom, he looked the part, but he was underpowered. The third Fantastic Four movie, he had the right amount of power, but he looked nothing like Doom should look. So they just couldn't put it in. The guy who played Doom in the first 2 movies was actually.
Can we stop talking about this movie, guys?
No, that guy was good. He was good. He was cast in a shitty movie.
He was a blogger in the third movie.
Yeah, he was like the dude who played him in the first 2 movies, who played Doom, was really good. He was just in a shitty movie. The guy who played Reed Richards looked the part.
He did,
right? He was good. Shitty movie. Chris Evans, good part. Shitty movie. Like it wasn't necessarily the cast's fault. It's just like Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool. I mean, in Green Lantern, he fits Hal Jordan. The movie was just shitty.
Yeah, but the thing about like X-Men. There are some good X-Men. There's some good X-Men movies. First Class, good. Days of Future Past, good. So
the first one.
I like the first one.
I like the first one and the second one.
Yeah, same here. I know people. It's got a bad rap, but when they came out with that,
it had more good movies than bad movies, and I also like it that it felt different from the other movies too.
Well, X3 counts as 2 bad movies.
Woo.
And Apocalypse counts as 2 bad movies.
2 bad movies? I give it 1 bad movie.
I
give it 1 bad movie.
Bruh,
honestly, Apocalypse was just like a less than.
Bruh, how you gonna be Ivan Ooze and not play the flute?
It was. Wasn't that terrible?
How you gonna have
Origins was
and
much
not take
worse.
down the command center?
I thought Apocalypse was okay, but for the scale of the character they were using, it's supposed to have been better.
Origins was much worse than Apocalypse.
Origins is the easiest.
Okay, Origins. Does that even count? It's just like automatic. Like, it shouldn't even count it on the list of bad movies. It just shouldn't exist.
It should be like a picture of if somebody show you a picture of Origins, it should be like a picture of a trash can or something.
Deadpool, who didn't talk.
Oh,
Bryan Singer was done with X-Men anyways, and
but at the same time,
I thought
there was more good than bad.
Yeah. So Marvel has now something they have to, like, okay, they make a movie, it's gonna get compared to one of the good X-Men movies. So they have something to really work towards. They have to make it better.
If they could bring the original X-Men movie cast back, with the exception of I mean, I like the guy who played Cyclops. I like the girl who played Jean Grey. Obviously, Hugh Jackman. Professor X, obviously.
Patrick Stewart's not coming back.
It's like 15 years. It's like
Patrick Stewart's like 80. He's not coming.
He ain't aged though. He still looked the same. Like nothing's changed for him.
You go look at Logan, then you go look at.
Okay, they won't do that, MG, just because of longevity.
That original cast outside of Halle Berry and Storm is cool. Like that was a good cast.
Terrible casting. Storm.
Yeah, the Storm was like the only bad casting out of that original team. Like that original team casting was actually good.
Yep. It just gets a bad rap now, but when they made that movie, they had no plan. They had no future plan.
Even the kid who played Bobby is Iceman, Anna Paquin.
They just don't have longevity with that, MG. It's 17 years later.
Yeah.
Hey, look. Famke Jensen still look the same. You seen her in Days of Future Past at the end when they got back in time. You still look the same.
This is the only thing I ask, MG. No more Jennifer Lawrence.
I'm down with that.
Do you even have to ask me that? Like, look, I said it the other day. Give me Rebecca Romijn Stamos back if I got to pick a Mystique between the two. If those are my two choices, give me Rebecca Romijn Stamos.
I heard she hated that role.
She did. She got sick.
Yeah, because of the paint.
Yeah, it was actually painted on. It wasn't like CG, it was painted on. But if I got to pick between her and Jennifer Lawrence, it's not even a thought to pick Rebecca Romijn Stamos. Jennifer Lawrence is trash as an actress, not just as Mystique, but as an actress.
And the fact that she was a focus over characters like Cyclops, Jean Grey, and
just wait for
Storm.
Did you hear what the rumor was for Dark Phoenix?
Is she gonna be a focus? I will not go see that movie.
That she was gonna die. That she was gonna die, and this was gonna lead to Magneto going crazy and Xavier fucking his mind up, and then Onslaught being created. I said, "Oh no!"
That shit's canned because we don't even. Maybe the movie comes out. But
I told you, Calvin. If they don't like that movie, bro, when they see the final cut of it, it ain't coming out.
That dude, what's his name? What's his name? Bob or whatever. He can go to the movie theater. Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
That's why I don't think we see much on the movie because they knew the sale was coming. It's like
he's gonna like talk to his producers. Cut that. We start over. We're not dealing with that. But yeah, I think we said enough about it. You guys want to plug your stuff?
All right, for me, as always, Bottom Line View, NFL content on there on YouTube, and for my Twitter, at Mitch Milani, Milani.
And you can find me at Kill Olicity 2017.
Did you actually change it to that?
No, not yet. It's gonna happen.
You gotta do it.
My stance hasn't changed on that, so.
Oh, no, I got a new one. Change at Jennifer Lawrence is out of here. She's not coming back. Yes.
Wait a minute. I don't hate Jennifer Lawrence as much as I hate Olicity, so I don't know.
This is what should happen.
Now, as individuals,
Disney
I don't
the rights to Felicity's character, and she should be the big bad for the fifth Avengers movie.
Like, I don't hate Emily Bett Richards as a person as much as I hate Jennifer Lawrence, but her character I hate more. So, like, like I don't have anything personally against Emily Beth Richards. Like I don't really know her personally to hate her. I just hate Felicity. But Jennifer Lawrence, I hate Mystique as her. I hate her as Mystique. I hate her. I hate all of her movies. Like,
yeah, I
damn
like her. But y'all guys know where to find me on Twitter at Calvin Philpott, Philpott with 2 T's. And if you ain't already subscribed. Peace.